What's up, guys? I'm going to show you how to tune a snare drum. I'm not really going to tell you the proper way to tune one because it's real subjective. Everybody, all drummers tune their stuff a little bit differently to achieve the sound that they're looking for. So what I'm going to basically do is show you how I tune my snare drum. And the way I tune it really isn't any different than what's written on the books, on how to tune a snare drum. I really don't do anything a whole lot different. But instead of saying I'm going to teach you how to do one, basically saying that the way I do it's right and the way you do it is wrong, I'm not going to do it like that. I'm going to show you how I tune my snare drum. Okay? So we'll go ahead and get started. This is a pork pie 6.5 by 14 black brass snare. It's it's black over brass, and let's see what she sounds like. Okay, so right now our $300 snare drum sounds like a $30 snare drum. It sounds terrible, but I can make it sound a lot better. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I do is I tune the bottom head. So I take the snares off right over here on the side. It's a strainer and a pull off. That lever up puts the snares on the bottom of the head. When you disengage it, the snares come off the bottom of the head. So what we're going to do is first, we're going to tune this bottom head. Now what I like to do is I put a stick underneath the snares that kind of lifts it up off the head. That way I can get a proper tone when I'm tuning the drum. I don't have the snares rattling on the bottom head, because that's how the snare gets its sound, by these snare wires here vibrating against the head. So let's go ahead and get started. Whoa, that is tuned way too low. Now, the proper way to put a drum head on is when you seat your head, you don't want to start tightening one side of the head up real tight and then start gradually taking the other side down, because the counter hoop on the head is made of aluminum, and you can damage the head immediately and the head will never tune. What you want to do is you want to get the head properly seated. You want to get even tension all the way around the shell. And we do that by tuning our head up to find a certain tone we like. Like I can already hear this bottom head is way too low. It needs to come up. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn, and you'll hear the tone start to change. You hear that? Bring it up a little bit. And you're going to want to get the same tone around every one of your lugs here. And the way to do that is to take your stick and to tap it about 1 inch in from the lug right here. About 1 inch in on the head, or all the way around. Hear the difference there? Big difference there. Okay, what we're going to do is try to get all these the same. Snares are going into your butt and your snare strainer right here. On the shell is what they call a snare bed. and it kind of bevels down a little bit, and sometimes that can be tricky. You always hear if those lugs seem to be deeper right here than the other ones. Sometimes you might have to take them up a little bit higher to even out the tone. Go ahead and see if that made any difference. Okay. None. Okay. Well, the bottom head is now in tune. So let's try the top head now. When I tune my snare head, I always like my bottom head tighter than my top. Okay, so let's get this going. There. And you'll hear that my bottom head is still tuned up higher than my top. Okay. Now let's see what's happening. Sounding better. Okay, now, one thing, and I'm going to turn this over this way so you can see it, right here, on your strainer or throw off, there is a knob on the top of it, and that knob will bring your snares to the bottom of the head or take them off. If you tighten it, it'll come up. If you loosen it, it'll come off. And the lever, like I said before, it'll take the snares completely off the head. It'll just drop them off, okay? So, right now, it still sounds kind of loose to me. So what we're going to do is we're going to tighten the snares up a little bit. And we'll see what that does to it. Okay. Tighten them up a little bit, not too much. If you tighten it up too much, you're going to get that real choked out, dead sounds. You want your snare drum to be kind of lively. You don't want those snares so loose that they're rattling, but you want them loose enough to where your snare sings. Yeah. using my ears and using this little drum key right here, I took this $300 snare drum from a $30 snare drum back up to a $300 snare drum. So use your ears, you know, achieve the sound that you like. I mean, every drum, I mean, it's kind of like if you go into any tiled room and you kind of hum up the scale, sooner or later you're going to hear a sympathetic note. You know, I don't know what it's called, but I think the same applies with drums. You know, there's a certain sound. A lot of times if you tap the shell, you'll hear a drums have a happy medium just like that. You can either over tighten them to where they just sound terrible, or they'll be so loose that you just sound like you're hitting on boxes. And right there, you find that happy medium, and your drum will sing. Okay. And right now, I have no muffling on my snare. When you muffle it and dampen the head, you kind of change the sound. I don't have a muffler right around here for it, but if I take my hand, you hear. I place my hand on it. It kind of drops all the ring out. So that's basically it. It's not real hard. Just trust your ears and use a little bit of common sense, you know, a little bit of the drum key technique, and you should be good to go. All right? Thank you.